Hello, everyone. Like he said, my name is Rob Nellis, and I had the privilege of being the Nittany Lion mascot from 2011 through 2013. And like he said, usually whenever I get up in front of crowds of people, I'm not allowed to talk at all, so we're going to give this a shot and see how it goes. Usually whenever someone first meets me and finds out that I was the lion, one of their first questions is, what was your favorite part? And that question actually has a twofold answer for me. One of them might be a little bit more obvious that you guys may know about. It's, the high exposure, the high adrenaline rolls, which would be like down on the field during a football game and doing crowd control, or getting to be on the stage at Thon during the total reveal. And I think those experiences were so awesome and so fulfilling and very cool to be a part of. But there's another side of the lion that people don't normally think about too much, and you guys were actually able to experience some of it just now during lunch. And that's the very personal, like human-to-human or lion-to-human interaction that you can get with a lion. For example, there's a really good time that particularly sticks out in my mind. I was at a basketball game, and I was going down the aisles, kind of doing my thing, and I saw off to my right there was a family with a couple little kids. Went down, did the ears and gave some high fives, and then as I was, getting up to leave, the mom stopped me and said, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you for all that you do, and thank you for coming and stopping by and interacting with my kids. We were at the game last month, and you did the same thing, and that's all he's been talking about for the past month." And that kind of made me like take a step back and think like, wow, I mean, that was such a brief thing that took a couple seconds on my part. That was probably one of a couple hundred high fives that I gave out that day, but that was enough for this kid to talk about nonstop to anybody he met for a month. So that was really cool. And of course, kids like the lion. He's fuzzy, he's fun and charismatic. But on the other side, you also have people like alumni or friends and family of the university. And my interactions with them are, similar, but also very unique. I remember there was one event that I was at the Hints Alumni Center, and there's this 85-year-old woman, and she was there with her family. They had all caught wind that the lion was going to make an appearance at this event, so they wanted to go there, and all she wanted for her 85th birthday was a picture with the lion. She had gone to Penn State, and she had never gotten a picture with a lion before, so they were so excited, and it was really cool to be a part of that, to be able to give that experience to them. And even amongst yourselves in the crowd, I know a couple of you that I've met already have said to me like, "Oh, that was you. Like I remember seeing you in the hub my freshman year, and like you took a picture with me then." And it's just like that's like one experience that you remember exactly when that happened. And that's a very cool thing about the lion. Is the lion is not only our university's mascot, but this symbol of overwhelming positivity. The lion is always energetic. It's always enthusiastic. He's always, going from one place to another. He's always going forward. He's always very, very positive in everything that he does. And I say he just for simplicity, not the lion doesn't necessarily have a gender, so I apologize. But I think that sense of positivity and that undying sense of positivity was something that was very important and kind of shone through during the whole scandal that broke out after the fall of 2011. During this time, a lot of our cherished and very popular university symbols kind of came into question, and there was criticism about them, and nobody was really sure what was going on. There was confusion, but I think to me it was really unique because every interaction that I continue to have, especially with Penn State students, alumni, kids, anybody who loves the Penn State organization as a whole, was always still a very positive interaction with me, no matter what was going on with these other symbols of the university. And I think a big part of that can be attributed to the presence that the lion creates in itself. And the lion is not wholly an athletic symbol. It's not wholly an academic symbol. It's not wholly a philanthropic symbol. It's not wholly an alumni thing or a student thing. It kind of encompasses and embodies the entire university and the entire sense of pride of the university and only the best parts of it. And so the things that, whenever that all started happening, I kind of, envisioned trying to, maintain that sense of positivity, and that was able to manifest itself in a lot of the things that people were doing around campus. I just happened to be able to be a part of and be able to bring a little bit more enthusiasm and a little bit more support to these things that are kind of looking for their purpose and their meaning in things. And for example, the We Still Are event, which happened here at the Hub, a bunch of student organizations got together and pretty much came out to the Hub to just like showcase what it is that made them Penn State proud, and show it what it is that made their Penn State experience. And of course, that's something that the Lion would show up to, because he wants to make that experience, bring the university into the lives of those students. And at the same time, there were other events that I didn't necessarily, see, or the Lion didn't necessarily have a place at. There were things like the vigils, or, the Joe Paterno's funeral, where it was kind of a deliberate, that the Lion wasn't at those events, because that was a very different kind of healing, a very different kind of dealing with the situation. It was a very much more human thing. And of course, a part of the beauty of the Lion is that it's not a human. It's not held to the same standards as a human. It's not as fallible as a human would be. So that's kind of allowed it to maintain this sense of positivity through even all this adversity. And I think it's really cool, because here at Penn State, I don't know if we realize it or not. I mean, most of you are undergrads or have only gone to school one place, but I've had the opportunity to travel to different campuses and meet other mascots and kind of like see the other the surrounding feeling around all these things. And they don't look to their mascot in the same way that we do. They kind of see it as, the silly guy down on the field who makes you laugh whenever the game is boring, or, something like that. But here at Penn State, it very much embodies the pride of the university and all the positive things that this university stands for. I mean, even to quote the song, we have a fight song called the Nittany Lion, and in that song it says, "It's the stately Nittany Lion, the symbol of our best." We kind of took the charismatic character of the Lion and uplifted it to be this symbol of something very, very positive for the university. So, I mean, as far as discussion goes, what I would like you guys to take away from this is to just kind of think about what kinds of symbols pervade our everyday lives and what kinds of things we look up to, because whenever the scandal broke out, some of those symbols that we always saw as such good things, it was kind of confusing, and we didn't really know about it anymore. So kind of like think about those things that you look up to in your lives, and think about the impact that they have for you, the people around you, and the community as a whole. Thank you.